Where we lived in Benting Terrace was a long row of terraced houses. And of course, because you were living in such an era, it was beginning to become quite good since the end of the war, but times were still quite hard. So everybody in the street used to pull together. Everybody used to share everything. Everybody used to help each other out as much as they could. And it was the families in the street was like one big family. It was a very safe area as well. We all used to play out on the street. We could all go anywhere and know we wouldn't come to any harm. And because of that, we had a good childhood. All the girls loved the ice skaters on telly and everything. And because we couldn't afford to go ice skating, the dads made up roller skates with bits of wood and wheels with ball bearings and that. And we used to career up and down the street with a knitting needle with a length of ribbon attached to it and waving it around. We were the most famous skaters in the world, up and down the street. Whenever my dad finished his shift down the pit, I knew what shift he was on, and if it was like an appropriate time, we used to love going to meet him down at the pit head when he came out. And he used to come out with his bait tin, and he always used to leave a sandwich in the bait tin. And this sandwich for the child who'd been best behaved throughout the day. But this sandwich used to be covered in coal dust, and it was the nicest tasting sandwich you've ever had in your life. And we always used to argue and fight over this sandwich. It was absolutely wonderful. Every sort of celebration time in the mining community, all the celebrations were led by the Colliery Band, Colliery Brass Band. So from my informative years, from the age of 3 onwards, I used to watch the band and think, look at them all in their posh uniforms and all the rest of it. So one night, at the age of 7, I decided that I'd take myself off and find out about this band. It was a bit of a start of a new age, really, because up until that time there'd been no females in the band at all. Pauline Cameron played in the band because her dad played in the band, so she was there when I started. And then there was me, and then my sister Janice, and then another girl called Barbara Dodd, who also lived in Pegswood. She started playing in the band as well. So of course they had to get their finger out then, because they didn't have any skirts to go with these jackets. We had to have skirts, and instead of the big forage cap, we had little cheese cutter caps. Oh, did we think we were the bee's knees? I've got to say that, well, I think you've already gathered, he was probably one of the best dads going. And so much so that he would go down and work a night shift down the pit. He'd go down, I can't remember what time the shifts were, probably something like 5, 6 o'clock at night they used to go down. And they used to come back up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And on a Saturday night when he was on the night shift, we had a motorbike and a sidecar. And again, clever man he was, he had made a little trailer to go on the back of this sidecar. So on a Saturday night, in this trailer, he used to pack it all up, A-line tent, gas burner, kettle, teapot, all this, that and the other. And everything we needed, because when he came up from his shift the next morning about 6 o'clock, us kids would all be ready and waiting, and he'd load us all in the sidecar. My dad obviously riding the motorbike, my mother pillion passenger, and 3 kids in the sidecar and the trailer on the back, and off we'd go to Boomer or Sugar Sands as we called it, or Druridge Bay, or somewhere like that. So Dad used to read his paper, and then he used to go to sleep for the day because he'd been working a 12-hour shift down the pit all night. And during the course of the day, my mother used to always do pie pie and pea and crisps. Now the pie was cold obviously, but the peas were heated up on the gas burner, and the crisp packet was opened up, and the crisp packet was the plate. So your pie went on there, because you couldn't take everything with you. Pie went on there with your peas, and your crisps were on the side. And that was our Sunday dinner. We used to have Sunday dinner and that, and then go back down and play again for a little bit longer while Dad got up and had his. And then about 2-3 o'clock, he used to pack us all up, and he used to drive us all home, and then he used to go down the pit again for his night shift. At the start of a shift and the finish of a shift, the siren used to go off. They had like a big wheel at the top of the pit head. The wheel used to turn and the siren used to sound to remind miners that it was their turn to either go down the pit or come up from the pit. But the siren used to go off at specific times, and if it went off when it wasn't that specific time, that was horrible. I think it happened with me about 2 or maybe 3 times when the siren went off and we knew there'd been an accident, and you've got the whole village, usually mainly women and children, standing at the top of the pit head just waiting to see if their men, their dads, their husbands were going to be the ones to come up out of the pit. I think as part of the ethos of being brought up in the Northeast,